Good morning, live from the town of Babylon, New York, the heart of Long Island, the gateway to Suffolk County. It's me, Ryan Williams, with I Love Babylon Unlimited today. We are expecting a couple guests today, but in the meantime, I want to tell you guys about a couple of things that are happening with the Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition because they are, as always, adding more and more value to the breast cancer community. And so they've started what's called a Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition's Rocks the Raffles fundraising page. And there are medium to high level stuff that they're raffling in there. You pay maybe $10, $13, $8. They raffle it off, and that goes to the great cause of fighting breast cancer. They did one this morning at 9 a.m. You definitely want to check it out. It's in our group at I Love Babylon Unlimited, and so you can click over and go over there. But then also this evening, we have the bingo scavenger hunt bingo, and I'm hosting. And what we do there is in the beginning, before you actually play the 5 actual sets of bingo, we have a scavenger hunt before each and every one. And what people do is they come in and they say, okay, what is the item? Can you find it? And they go run looking for it. But no matter what, we have a ton of fun, and it's a fun thing. So I have with me today, as you know, I've been going through and speaking with town council persons, mayors, the town supervisor, about local things that affect us here locally, our local politics here in town. And not so much because it's a political thing, but more of, look, this is what is happening here in town. You can focus out on what's going on outside and all these big battles about different things that may not necessarily have anything to do with us per se, our personal lives. But what you really want to do is look at local politics and see what people are doing for us here. And there are a lot of people who are giving up their time, who are volunteering, or who are career servants to the town. And so last week, a couple of weeks ago, spoke with Mary Adams, who is the current mayor of Babylon Village. And she was appointed because Mayor Scarborough left. He passed away last year, and so the idea was that they put someone in that place. But the elections for Babylon Village are coming up next week, and I didn't realize that. So I was talking to Mayor Adams, and I realized that I need to give equal time to the other people who are running in the election, and one of them is here today with us, Kelly Peckholdt. Oh, let me get rid of this thing. Good morning, Kelly. How are you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. How are you today?
Okay, great. I'm so happy that I can hear you. Sometimes I start this thing and it just doesn't work. I'm doing great, thanks. And I know Kelly from the Babylon Village, the Chamber of Commerce, but also you are Positions Dance Studio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So if you've ever been down there during one of the fall festivals or the spring festivals or everything, and you've seen a bunch of girls dancing, you know that's part of what she does. But now you are going for trustee.
I am, yes.
It's fantastic. Well, how has that been? What is the what's the track to that? How does that feel?
It's definitely been an interesting experience. This is my first time running for public office, so it's my first political campaign. So it's definitely been eye-opening and a very big learning experience all around.
Yeah, I would think so. I see you guys come up across a few different obstacles, but it's also, I assume, very busy, right? Something you've got to put a lot of energy into.
Yes, sure.
And did your party exist before, or is that a new party, or I'm not even sure. See, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just realizing I don't have a dog because I live in North Babylon, right?
Yeah.
things can change, and that's what people don't really understand. Like things can change like on a dime like that, but specific to your community. What's more important is that the people who are living there actually know the issues and pay attention to what it is that you. And someone could come to your house, right? Basically say, "Hey, Kelly, this should be handled this way," or whatever. So it's very different. So did you guys exist before? Is it brand new? You created it because of a desire, a specific desire?
So Kathy Hoffman, who is the mayor candidate for the Vote for Babylon party, she ran 2 years ago in 2019 against the late Mayor Ralph Scordino. So yeah. The party existed then, it was formed then. So it's been in existence for the past 2 years. So we're kind of hoping to build off the momentum that Kathy started 2 years ago.
Okay. All right. And was there did she have a specific reason why she wanted to run? Were there issues she wanted to tackle and that you were now championing as well?
Yeah. So what she ran on last time is essentially what our platform is this time, which very vaguely is community, transparency, and innovation. So basically looking at how we can take the existing wonderful things in the village and maybe look at different usages, maybe update things, just bringing a fresh set of eyes and looking to change the tone of what's going on in the village too. Often, sometimes when people go to Village Hall for information, they're met with some antagonism, and there's sometimes a very like you versus me feeling going on in the village. And we're hoping to really make residents be a part of their local government and to involve everyone so that everyone has a voice.
Okay, good. That's good. That's great. Because obviously you want to be able to say, hey, this is what's happening and be able to talk to someone. And do you feel like, well, it's interesting, right? Because you've had a situation where it is a new person who's doing that. And by the way, the fact that it's a woman mayor and there's another woman running for mayor in a town of Babylon, to me, that's great.
It is.
I raised my single parent, and it was my mom, and she was my hero. And she always was like, "It can be done if you push hard enough. It can be done." And so when I see strong women stepping up and taking on these roles, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. In Jamaica, and this is a thing you'll hear Jamaicans say right now. A woman time now, basically it's your turn and step up and do it. And it's great to see that, even though the COVID has kind of made it a little bit difficult for some things, but in general, yeah, we see it's going on. So what happened with this? This is something that made the news, right? What happened with this application that you guys put out? Because my understanding is, what, you put something in and it just didn't go in the way it was supposed to? What happened there?
So just to give your viewers a little bit of background on how this process works. So when you are running for office, you do need to have a certain number of petition signatures that you file so that you are then nominated to be on the ballot for either election day, or if you're voting via absentee ballot, either way, then you'd be on the ballot. So for us, the first day that we could file our petition signatures was February 2nd. So we were prepared 9 a.m. when Village Hall opened. Kathy marched down there. It was right after a snowstorm on February 1st, and she went right through the big mountains of snow all through the village and got to Village Hall, filed our petitions.
Okay.
And the last day that someone could file a challenge to the petitions, which was February 10th, late in the day, we found out that someone indeed had filed a challenge to our petitions, that there was an error in the form that we had used. The form was provided in a packet to us from the village, and the form that we used ended up, it had printed in the corner that it was for a primary election versus the general election, and our village doesn't even hold a primary election. So that being said, we received this challenge in writing from the village clerk on February 10th. And that had also already gone to the Suffolk County Board of Elections. So at that point, it was something that was even out of the village clerk's hands and out of our hands for the moment. And it was up to the commissioner and deputy commissioner of the County Board of Elections to decide that. So it ended up that they decided that our petitions were invalid because of that clerical error and that we would not be on the ballot. Of course, due to COVID, they're kind of statewide have been, whether it's, on the books or not, at least verbal agreements, handshakes that any candidates running are not going to be challenging petitions because of the nature of having to gather signatures in person. And, if people were willing to put themselves at risk with the pandemic to come sign something. So,
but you already had the signatures, right?
We already had the signatures. Yep.
Right. You wouldn't have to go and get them again. It was just changing the form, right?
Yes, exactly. So we just we then put all of our energy into running a writing campaign. So that's what we're doing. You won't see our names printed on the ballot, but you'll be able to write in our names.
Just a technicality, but in truth and in fact, yeah, that's tough, man. That'll make it difficult. So if I was in Babylon Village, if I was a villager and I wanted to vote for your particular party next week, I would have to go and write in what? Where am I writing it in? What am I saying?
So on the ballot that you receive, and again, this is either if you're voting absentee, it's the same looking ballot, or if you're going to the polling place on election day, the first line, row A, is going to have the Better Babylon Party candidates. Row B is going to have the Reimagine Babylon Party candidate who's running. And then there's a write-in line underneath that. So if you are voting for even any of the Vote for Babylon candidates, under the mayor column, you'd write in Kathy Hoffman.
Okay.
There's a 2-year trustee seat, so you'd put Aiden Lyons in the 2-year trustee. And then there's 2 4-year trustee seats open. So that's where myself and then Timothy J. Golub would be written in for the 4-year seats.
Yeah, relatively young people. I see them, and I like that too. But at the same time, yeah, it's a balance. You have to say to yourself, okay, people who have perhaps not done this before, but then also people who have done it before and know exactly what they're doing. What do you balance? How do you figure it out? What do you choose to do? But that's good. That's good. It's good to see people getting all involved, because that's the other thing too. A lot of people used to sit back. How long had Mayor Scordino been mayor, right? So it's kind of cool to look and say, okay, let's try something different. Let's figure out what you want to do, but let's also get involved, because you go around town and in general, you shake people's hand and they're great and whatever. But then sometimes you see stuff on social media and you're like, did I just shake the hand of that guy? Like, what is happening here? So it's good to get to know the actual people who are doing this and go through stuff. And I kept seeing this press about you guys not being able to figure out how to do the form, and I was just like, oh, that's the worst possible. And it sounds like a bad excuse, but you're telling me that to some extent it was valid. It's just that you don't have enough time to get it back up and get it done. But so okay, all right. So how's business in Babylon Village? I know are you still president of the chamber?
I'm still president of the chamber. Yep. If I am elected next week, I am going to choose to step aside from that. No, we don't have enough hours in the day to do all of these jobs, but B, I feel like that would be a bit of a conflict of interest too. So I do have a board member who would work with me, and I'd help him transition into that role. And of course, I'd be available to help with whatever they need, but I don't think it would be right if I held both positions. But nonetheless, for the time being, I still am, and might be still next week too, which I would be very happy to continue to do.
We'll see. But yes, I understand what you're saying. But yeah, that's good. I mean, I have seen so much more about the village chamber now than I used to before. I feel like that is also like in the last couple, maybe 3 years, like you guys have really started to get your stuff out there, especially on this platform. Like I consistently see your stuff. I know what businesses are doing what and what's going on with them. And so now I'm going to ask you the most difficult question that I had today. Had nothing to do with your forms, had nothing to do with running. I'm going to ask you the most difficult question you could possibly. What's your favorite pizzeria?
It's funny. I saw what you did with Councilman Mineta the other day, so I knew the pizza question was coming. I would have to say Francesco's because they have the best grandma pizza that I've had.
Oh, best grandma. Oh, so you're gonna do that to me, okay? You're gonna be real specific. You say it's gonna be grandma over here, then maybe you'll pick something from Gino's over there, and you'll pick something else from Mulberry Street. That's it. That's diplomatic, very diplomatic.
Francesco's very good pizza. I think as president of the chamber and someone who loves to support everything local, I try to support everyone equally, and I try to eat everywhere, but yeah, I think Francesco's has my favorite.
All right, good. So that's good. That is one of the definitely most important questions that you could answer. All right, so I'm sorry, Kathy. I guess Kathy couldn't make it today, but it's good to talk to you. People, if you are looking for a little bit of a change, you want to check that out. Check out what's going on. Definitely vote, no matter what.
Yes.
Definitely go out and vote because you want to have your 100%. You want to go and have your voice heard.
And I think that's the most important message here, Ryan, that no matter who you're voting for, you have the right to vote and have your voice heard. And you also need to educate yourself on all of the candidates on all parties running, because this election you can choose different parties. You don't have to vote across the party line. So, and I think a lot of people actually don't realize that about the village election too. You don't have to vote across the row. You can vote for who you want. So look into all of us and choose who you think
who you like.
Do the best job.
I got to tell you, you said party line. This whole thing about who's moderate, who's progressive, who's conservative, it's kind of a silly thing that really doesn't fit anybody the way they make it seem that it should fit everybody. I mean, outside of your super right wing, super left wing people who are just like, I want to go with all this stuff, no matter what. We all have, we're on a spectrum. We're all on a spectrum.
Right.
You have, this particular issue that you're conservative on, but you may have this one that you're way progressive on, simply because your life is different for everybody's vicissitudes, as my mom would say. That's a great word to use on social media. Everybody's past, everybody's little things that happened to them in the past. Make them different and care about different issues. And so the issues are the ones you should definitely go and check out. So where is this? Vote for Babylon. I know that's your website, and you can find your platform and your priorities and all your information over there. I think if I saw an ad for it today, I was like, oh, look, they're doing ads.
Facebook just lifted those political bans.
Yes, I thought you weren't even allowed to do that anymore. But you're like, okay.
3 years ago, they lifted it. Okay. Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram too. We have active pages on both platforms. So if you're not a social media person, you can check us out on our website, as Ryan just mentioned. But then, of course, our social platforms have more information about us too.
And they'll link you over there if that's what you're looking for. Well, I want to say thank you so very much. This is Kelly Peckholdt again, who is running for Babylon trustee. Is there what specifically would you do as trustee?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out a little bit, Ryan. Can you say that one more time?
What would you specifically do as trustee? What are the problems that you solve as trustee?
So, as a party, I mentioned our full platform before, but then I'll get a little more specific now. So we're looking at how we can improve transparency in the village between residents and village hall through new technology. So looking at making the website more user-friendly, making permits and various forms that people need to access that you're able to submit online versus having to maybe mail something or bring it to Village Hall. Everyone's on tight schedules and has busy careers. So certainly, anything we can streamline like that is best. We're also looking at, we have all these wonderful assets in the village, like the golf course and the pool that are not open year round. And how could we maybe better imagine those spaces so that they function for our residents for a greater portion of the year? And that's actually something that in talking to residents, either at meet and greets or, we get plenty of emails from people or just out and about in the community, that people have expressed that they'd like to see those things too. And I personally, bringing a business owner perspective, of course, living here and working here, I would like to see some more parking reform, some traffic studies done. There's areas of the village where there's sometimes dangerous intersections that we need to look at. Do we need an extra stop sign here? Do we need a crossing guard here? Would a traffic light work here? And of course, there's no right answer. That's why you do these traffic studies, to see what the best solution would be. And of course, pre-pandemic, we saw many more parking issues than we probably are now. But I think as 2021 progresses, we're going to see we're going to see a lot more people in the village because businesses are starting to reopen more. Like we're seeing next week, restaurants can open to 75%. And I think by the summer or even into the fall, as more people are vaccinated, we'll see just more and more foot traffic, which of course is great for the business district, but then creates more traffic problems again too.
Yes, but we all want to get that. We all want to go out there and raw dog that air, right? We want to get that good smell and not have to feel like we're all cooped up in the house. But I completely get that. Speaking of meet and greets, don't you have one? Is it tomorrow or Saturday?
We had one last evening, but we have another one this Sunday from 10 to 12 at the Delicacy on Fire Island Avenue.
Okay, great. So then anytime, what's the time?
From 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
All right. And come back and meet all the people that are there. Meet all your candidates and say hello and figure out what it is that you have in common, so you can know whether or not you're writing in or you are voting or however you want to go on Tuesday. No matter what, people go out and vote.
Yes.
And again, Kelly, it's great to see you, and thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
All right. You have a good day, Tal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being with us. Have a great day, Babylon.